Okay, so let us start. So today we are going to see the first kind of oscillator, which is going to be an RC phase shift oscillator. So first we will do the BJT based oscillator, and probably next time we will do a MOSFET based oscillator. So let us start drawing that. So like I told you that oscillator will have basically an amplifier. It will have an amplifier and it will have a feedback network. So here what we can do is, first we can start drawing the amplifier. So let me draw that. So all of you should start drawing this. So this is your simple CE amplifier. So there are lots of derivations in this, so we'll just see that. So an amplifier will have its own power supply. This is RC, this is R1, R2, then here we have RE, and then we have CE. Here we can have a coupling capacitor CC or C0, and here we can call this as V0, and this is the place where we are actually going to give the input to the amplifier. So this is my amplifying circuit. Now we also require a beta network, so I'll have that beta network here. This is R1, then we have here R1, R2, C3, C2, C1, and here what we can do is we can have one small R3 this way. So this will make it as a variable resistance, and this also will make it as a variable one, and connect this here. So you can see that the circuit is actually divided into two parts. So above the red line we are having amplifier, that is which amplifier? In this case it is a CE amplifier, which is the biasing that we can see here. So it is a potential divider bias. Okay. So here we have, so first is above the red line is the amplifier network, and below this we have our feedback network, and here the feedback network consists of a RC network. How many RC networks can you can see? 3. C1, R1, C2, R2 and C3, R3. So there are 3 networks, and each network gives a phase shift of, so one network phase shift is 60 degrees. So that is what we are going to look at here. So please draw this. Once you are done with this, just write done in the chat box. So this is collector, base and emitter. So the phase shift, I think I have already told you, that is tan inverse of Xc by R, and Xc is nothing but 1 upon 2 pi Fc. So first we need to decide what is the frequency of oscillation that we are expecting. F is a question, and based on F you can calculate Xc, and then based on the phase shift, that is theta, what you want. So generally it would be 60 degrees. You can decide the value of R. So theta is the next question, and then from theta we can calculate R. So in that way we are calculating C and R. So this is the approach. So here between these 2 points, between this point and this point, so I'll say between point A and B, so between point A and B, the phase shift is 180 degrees, and I'll call this as C, and I'll call this, so between point A and B 180 degrees, but through the amplifying network, and between the same 2 points A and B, again the phase shift is another 180 degrees, but this time through beta network. So this is something that we have to keep in mind. So what we are going to do is, there are 2 points. One is phase shift or phase difference should be 360 or 0 degrees, and the second criteria is A beta should be equal to 1. Now out of this, beta is fixed. Beta is fixed because beta has got fixed values, R1, R2, C1, C2 and so on. So I'll just name this as RA and CA just for the time being, because R1 and R2 are already there here. So we will just make this as RA and RB. So what you can do is, you can change beta. So we can write here R3 can be used to change beta, and RC this can be used to change gain, that is A. So in this circuit you can see we have control over both A and beta. However, beta is limited, I'll say fixed or limited, but what you can change is A, and then we have to ensure that A into beta is equal to 1. Understood? Yeah. So if you have copied this thing, let us go to the next part. If you are done with this, just write done in the chat box. So what we are actually interested is in how the beta network works. That's our main concern here. And we will be starting from this point here, and we'll go up to this. So if you're done with this, just write done in the chat box. I'm just waiting for you to say done. Okay, Suman. Okay. So now, if it's an oscillator, we want to know what are the frequencies that we can get out of it and which transistors we should use and what should be the values of R and C and so on. So that is why now we are going to do analysis. We are going to do analysis of the oscillator. So first analysis is going to be the AC analysis. Okay. Now you can see here that we are using a BJT. So actually the H parameter model of the BJT is like this. This is the model of the BJT. Now here, this is your, let's say, emitter. This is base and this is collector. So here this is our HIE. Sorry, I just made a mistake. Sorry, very sorry for that. This is my base and this is my emitter, and here we have, so when we write HIE means what? E stands for common emitter, and that is the input impedance, and here we have HFE times of IB. So we have to show here IB, which is basically the base current. Okay. Now this is connected to ground. So at the collector we have RC, which is connected between collector and VCC. So VCC is also considered as ground AC wise. So you can see here that it is connected between collector and VCC, but VCC is ground. So generally we do that, and then we have here we have, after RC we can see we have C1, then we have RA, then we have C2, then we have RB, then we have C3, and then we have, so after C3 what do we have here? In series with C3 we have R3. So I'll write here R3. Okay. And then we have the, since this is connected to point A, so from this side we will see the input impedance of the potential divider by circuit, which is going to be, simply we can write this like this, that is R1 parallel to R2 parallel to HIE, parallel to HIE. So this is the AC equivalent of the circuit. Now certain assumptions we will be doing in this analysis, that is, let C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to capital C, and R1 equal to R2, sorry, RA equal to RB equal to, I will write R3 plus R1 parallel to R2 parallel to HIE. This is equal to R. Meaning in the feedback network, we have all capacitances are having same values, and all resistances as seen by the oscillator should also be having the same values. C and R are the values. So what happens to this circuit further is this, that is, here we have this like this, and if we apply these, so instead of C1, C2, C3 and all this, we can have this R, so this is the collector, emitter, and this. So this is what we can actually see. Now we will play some more tricks here, and we'll just try to make it look a little bit nicer, and let me use this lasso tool, which is of great help. So this circuit now finally like this. So let's see now what is the change inside this. So I will do some changes here. I will convert this, I will do a source transformation here, and I will integrate RC into the circuit. So see here, this current source is in parallel with RC. So what we will do here is we will have a resistance in series with a voltage source. So this is RC, and then we have a voltage source, and now if you apply some basic source transformation here on this side, we can draw the circuit in this way. This is R minus and plus, and the value of this is going to become HFE RC into IB, HFE RC into IB. So now you can see we have three loops here. This is I1, this is I2, and here we have I3. So basic BW, we have to now do something called as mesh analysis. So we have three loops and three currents. So we can find out I1, I2 and I3. So what I'll do here is I will apply KVL in loop 1, apply KVL in loop 2. So let me write here KVL in loop 1. So if I apply KVL in loop 1, what I'll get here is minus HFE RC into IB minus I1 RC minus I1 into, so what is the impedance offered by C? It will be 1 by CS minus, what is this? R. So R into, what is the current flowing through R? So it will be I1 minus I2 equal to 0. So what you can do here is you can solve this and you can write I1 into R plus RC plus 1 by CS minus I2 into R is equal to minus HFE RC into IB. So this is my first equation. So you can take everything common and write these terms. And we can call this as equation number 1. So similarly, I want you all to apply KVL to loop 2 and loop 3. So now I will apply KVL to loop 2. So when I apply KVL to loop 2, what will I get? So here I can write minus, so first one is R, so I will write R into I2 minus I1 minus C into, or 1 by CS, not C, one by CS into I2 minus R into I2 minus I3 equal to 0. So this will give me I1R minus I2 into 2R plus 1 by CS plus I3 into R equal to 0. This is 2. Then we have KVL to loop 3. So now when we apply KVL to loop 3, what will we get? So that will be minus, so just for the sake of revising, currently we are in loop 3, so we are looking at R. So we write that R first. R into, so I'll write minus R into, what is the current flowing through this? That is I3. And what is the current due to the other branch? That is I2. So I write minus R into I3 minus I2. Again minus. Next is capacitance 1 by Cs, and the only current flowing through it is I3, I2, I3, correct. And then we have minus I3 into R equal to 0. So here we can write I2 into R minus I3 into, we can write 2R plus 1 by Cs equal to 0. So this is my equation number 3. This is equation number 3. Now we can write equation 1, 2 and 3 in the form of a
Hello, sir.
matrix. Yes.
Sir, in KVL loop 2, it should be minus R I2 minus I1. No?
KVL loop
Loop 2. Loop
R,
2. Minus R I2 minus I1.
yes, minus R I2 minus 1, correct. I think the further part is correct. Yes. Yes, further part is correct. There is no change in the further part. Correct. So now let us write these equations as a matrix. So how can we write them? So we will have a matrix which is 3 cross 3. So in the first equation, what is the coefficient? R plus RC plus 1 by Cs, then R, and then I3 component is 0. So I'll write here R plus RC plus 1 by Cs. Then we have minus R, and then we have 0. Here we will write into I1, I2 and I3. This is equal to, so that is the RHS of the first equation is HFE RC into I1. Then coming to second equation, so here we have R minus 2R plus 1 by Cs, and here we have again R, and this is equal to what? 0. So I'll write here 0. Similarly here I'll write again I1 is 0, I2 component is R, and then here we have minus 2R plus 1 by Cs, that is also equal to 0. So please write this. Now our major plan is to calculate I3. What is the plan? The plan is to compute I3, and you can see I3 is the current in the last loop. I3 is the current in the last loop. Now why we are particularly interested in this is because the current which is in the last loop is also going to be the input again back to the amplifier. So that is going to be the input to the amplifier. So we are particularly interested in what is the value of I3. Now before we calculate the value of I3, so basic mathematics would tell me I3 would be delta I3 upon delta. Delta I3 upon delta, where delta is the determinant of this matrix. Is the determinant. Okay, now if it is the determinant, so you all know how to calculate the determinant of a matrix. So you take this first term and then you cross multiply these two, then you take minus of this term and then you cross multiply this and this one, and so on. So now I will write delta is equal to, we can write R plus RC plus 1 by CS. So this is the first term, into, we cross multiply these two, so I'll get 2R plus 1 by CS the whole square minus R square. Then I'll write minus of minus R is going to be plus. So minus of minus R is going to be plus, so I'll write plus here, R into minus R into 2R plus 1 by CS, and finally the last term is 0, so anything into 0 is going to be 0. So this is the only thing that we have. So if we try and expand this, what we should be getting is R plus RC plus 1 by CS into, let us expand this whole thing, so 4R square plus 4R upon CS plus 1 by C square S square minus R square, this entire thing minus R square into 2R plus 1 by CS. And now we'll expand this thing more, and what we are going to get here is, so this becomes 3R, so I'll just rewrite this, R plus RC plus 1 by CS into 3R square plus 4R upon CS plus 1 by C square S square minus R square into 2R plus 1 by 6. So this is actually inside a bracket. So here, now let us, so can you see the second term is sorted out, but the first term is going to be complex. So let's multiply that carefully and write the terms. So let us do that. So first term R, I multiply with the all the 3, so I get 3R cube plus 4R square by CS plus, or let's do it this way, let's multiply each and every term in the first term with the term inside. So 3RC into R square plus 3R square upon CS plus, we will get 4R square upon CS plus 4R into RC upon CS plus 4R upon C square S square plus 3R square upon CS plus 4R upon C square S square plus 1 upon C cube S cube. I'll just take it to the next line. minus 2r cube minus r square upon cs. So it's a huge term, but you can see some 1 by cs terms, some 1 by c square s square terms, and some 1 by c cube s cube terms. So we will combine them in that way and write a common thing. So we can write it this way, just check it whether I am right or not. So let's try and write that. So that will be r cube plus 3r square rc plus 6r square. So you can see here 3r square and 3r square. So I can write here 6r square plus 4r into rc upon cs plus 5r plus rc upon c square s square plus 1 by c cube s cube. Just check it. I want everybody to check it. C cube s cube. So now we can write very easily, just by cross multiplication, delta is equal to r3 plus 3 r square rc. I can write here c cube s cube plus 6r square plus 4r into rc into c square s square plus 5r plus rc cs plus 1, this entire thing upon, we can write c cube s cube. We can write this entire thing as c cube s cube. So this is the value of your delta. So I'll call this as equation A. Now we want delta I3. So what is delta I3? Delta I3 is actually determinant of, I'll just take it up, don't worry. Determinant of, so first two columns of delta I3 will be the same as the previous matrix. So these two columns are the same, r and 0. This will be minus r, minus 2r, plus 1 by cs and r. But the third column will be the constant terms in the equation. That will be minus HFE, IB, RC. This will be 0 and this will also be 0. So if I want delta I2, then the second column will be replaced by this red vector. If I want delta I1, this first column will be replaced by the red vector, minus HFE, IB, RC, 0 and 0. Now the determinant of this is equal to, very simple, you can see that only this term is going to exist, that is the last one. That will be simply minus HFE into IB RC into simply R square. So delta I3 calculation was not at all difficult. It was very, very simple. Very, very simple. Now we have delta I3 and we have delta also. So now very easily we should be able to write I3. So I3 was equal to delta I3 upon delta. So that is going to be minus HFE IB into RC into R square. So this denominator will come up. So I will write here C cube S cube, this entire thing upon this big bracket. So what was this big bracket? Let us write that. That is, first term was R3 plus 3R square RC into C cube S cube plus 6R square plus 4R into RC into C square S square plus, we can write 5R plus RC into 6. Of course, plus 1. Don't miss that. So this is actually the value of I3. So if we substitute all R, HFE, IB, everything in this, we will get the value of I3. Now, to have sustained oscillations, what is the criteria for sustained oscillations? To get sustained oscillations, A into beta should be equal to 1. So beta is equal to IF upon I naught, that is the feedback current, and A is equal to I3 upon IB, I3 upon I naught, sorry. This is simply going to be I naught, that is output current, upon input current, that is IB. But we can see that IF is equal to I3. IF is equal to I3, that is the current in the last loop is actually the input again back to the amplifier, and that is the reason why we can write that A beta A is the same I naught upon IB, but this time beta we can write it as I3 upon I naught. And to get sustained oscillations, A into beta should be equal to 1, which means I naught upon IB into I3 upon I naught should be equal to 1. So I can cancel this. That means I3 upon IB should be equal to 1. So we already have I3 and we have IB also. So what will happen here? Therefore, we can say that minus HFE RC IB R square C cube S cube upon all these terms, that is a huge term again, so I'm just writing it here, R cube plus 3R square RC into C cube S cube plus 6R square plus 4R into RC into C square S square plus 5R plus RC into CS plus 1. So all this should be equal to 1. all this should be equal to 1. This entire thing upon IB should be equal to 1. And while doing this, you can very easily note that IB and IB can be cancelled out. IB and IB can be cancelled out. And if you want to save the pain of writing a step, then we can easily write here that let's write it this way, that HFE into RC R square C cube S cube upon RC C cube S cube plus 6R square plus 4R into RC into C square S square plus 5R plus RC into CS plus 1 equal to 1. Now what you will do is, so I will stop here, but what we will continue with is, so what we will continue here is, you will divide both numerator and denominator by R. Divide by R, step number 1. Then step number 2 would be write RC upon R as K, RC upon R as K, and step number 3 would be equate real and imaginary part. Equate real and imaginary parts. So when you do that, you will get the oscillating frequency. So I will stop here, and in the next class I will continue my derivation from this point. Let me take the attendance.